The road to Delhi passes through Lucknow, says an old political saying. And if there's one state that's absolutely fundamental to the BJP's chances of coming back to power in 2019, it's Uttar Pradesh. With us is Sanjeev Singh from the Times of India. Let's break down the politics of UP, Sanjeev. 73 seats with its ally out of 18 in 2014, 71 on its own. But things change when you put together the alliance of the SP-BSP. So is arithmetic going to be enough to stop the personality politics of Narendra Modi?
Well, that's a million-dollar question. We'll have to wait and see. But if you just look at the numbers here, you can see how close it's going to be in this election. BJP had 42.3% of the vote, and if you add SP and BSP together, then the difference is only 0.5%.
Let's see when we mix them together what happens to the map. This is how the map of UP looks, Sanjeev. If we have put together vote shares from 2014, assuming people vote exactly the same and they may vote differently, the tally on the 2014 vote comes down to 37 for BJP or NDA, SP-BSP 41.
I think you'll have to remove RLD from here and add it to this.
So now we've added RLD and the number's gone up by 1.
Yeah. So this basically gives you a figure of how tight the fight is between SP and BSP. And this is going purely by the vote share of 2014. Remember, in 2014, there was a massive Modi wave. People came out in large numbers to vote. If we look at the current phases where polling has happened, the numbers, the voting percentages have not been as high as last time on some seats.
So Sanjeev, let's say if in phase we have some numbers of voting so far, let's see what happens. We've got an alliance simulator here. Okay. Let's see what happens if we increase the vote share a little bit. Let's see, theoretically speaking, if NDA increases its vote share by 5%. So even after adding 5% bump to the NDA on vote shares, it's hitting 48. At least that's what the past data is showing us.
Yeah, so that's still a loss of almost 22-24 seats for BJP, which could be crucial right in the end. So you're right, that's the arithmetic that SP and BSP bring together.
Let's see what happens if we increase SP-BSP a little bit. Let's say we increase SP-BSP by 5%. Not much of a difference here. We increased both BJP and SPB 5%. It's still 36 and 42. There is
but you will see a substantial difference if you move back the NDA vote share to what it was in 2014.
Now this is what happens if we keep NDA remains static at 2014 levels. Yeah. SP-BSP goes up by 5%. You see a 47-31 split.
Yeah. So that is why the vote share and polling percentage becomes important in the elections. Now the onus is actually on the NDA to ensure that there is actually higher voter turnout. If they can actually do that, then they can give a tough fight to the alliance. Otherwise, the arithmetic, if you just go by pure numbers, then it's pretty even Stevens between them.
Sanjeev, here's another poll scenario here. What happens if NDA increases by 10% vote share compared to 2014? Then it hits the 59-60 mark. SP-BSP is still 19. So they'll have to increase by this much to come even close to 2014 levels, assuming people vote the same way. Now, if you add 5% to SP-BSP, it's still even. It's even Stevens here. I've added 8% here. Let's make it to about 5.
Yeah. So basically the onus now is both on BJP and its alliance partners to ensure that they come out in large numbers to vote, because they know that they have stiff competition. SP-BSP voters will be coming out in large numbers to vote, so the onus actually rests with the BJP.
Let's slice this state down a little bit more, Sanjeev. One of the key factors in UP in 2019 is also the Muslim vote. Now, this is a chart which charts the population percentage of Muslims living constituency by constituency. That's the political map. That's the demographic map of UP, and the darker areas are those which have higher concentration of Muslims by population. And BJP won, of course, in the wave of 2014. BJP swept all these areas. What's the outlook looking like this time, Sanjeev?
See, again, if you see the major concentration you can see on the top half of the map, that is basically Western UP. So this is really crucial for BJP to ensure that they actually have a winning combination here, because if you put this Muslim vote along with the Dalit vote, then it is almost very tough for BJP to win back these seats unless the polling is as high as 2014.
There is of course the BJP calculation that non-Jatav Dalits may be switching over from BSP towards BJP. At least that's what the BJP is aiming for, and for non-Yadav OBCs to also switch from the Samajwadi Party. Let's take a look at the Dalit vote bank and where it is concentrated geographically. You're with the TOI's data center. Now this is where Dalit votes are concentrated largely.
So it's actually quite spread across the state.
Yeah, the darker areas are areas which have a higher percentage of the population. The really dark blue, 43%. The lighter ones is more than 30% vote shares of the population is actually Dalit population. So across the center part of the state, in the southwest, pockets in the north, these also coincide with the Muslim population. These are areas where the Muslim Dalit vote is very, very strong in the west and over here in the center.
So basically, you know, if you look at the 18% mark, so you will see that almost 80% of UP is covered by that 18% Dalit vote everywhere. So that vote is always there. Now, you mentioned the fact that, you know, the non-Jatav Dalit and the non-Yadav OBC is going with the BJP. We have also heard these reports, but remember that if that happens, it's not any different from 2014. Even in the 2014 election, we saw that the same vote had moved towards the BJP. So really, this time, you know, the onus is on the BJP, as I keep saying again and again, that the polling percentage will be very important, and BJP needs to ensure that their voters come out in large numbers.
So we've taken you through the numbers, looking at what the data is telling us. Now, of course, an election is more than just about mathematical possibilities and arithmetic. 2014, after all, the Modi factor subsumed everything else. This election, the big question is it going to be a more normal election, or is it another wave election, either way, of the kind that we saw in 2014?
Nalin, if we compare it to the 2014 election, this time a marked change is that when we traveled across UP, people want to vote for Narendra Modi and not so much for BJP. Like the last time around, it was still that people were quite, you know, fed up with the UPA government, 10 years in power, fatigue factor, anti-incumbency. So there were a lot of issues that were actually affecting the nature of the election campaign. But this time what we are seeing is arithmetic versus the persona and charisma of Narendra Modi in the election.
And that's what this election boils down to. The Prime Minister still brings a huge premium to the BJP's vote share. A lot of BJP voters are voting for the BJP, more for the Prime Minister and less for the party. At least that's what we found on the ground. Now, whether that's going to be enough to cut this phalanx of this caste matrix the SP, BSP have put together with the RLD and with some friendly contest with the Congress, at least in Western UP, that is the big question that will decide the fate of UP and arguably what kind of government comes to power in Lok Sabha 2019.